Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today, as you saw by the name of the title, we're going to be talking about some books. So grab your tea, grab your coffee, and let's chat for a little bit. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jimena. I like to post all sorts of stuff on here, so definitely stay a while, subscribe, follow me. My socials are here below. And yeah, let's get talking. So, first things first, a little backstory about me and about reading in general. I used to be quite the reader when I was little. If you go to my parents' house, I have my bookshelf and it is just full of books. I loved reading, but as I got older, there's just so many distractions, phones, everything. I stopped reading. I really didn't read much, maybe read one book to a year. And recently, I've picked up reading again. I'm gonna give you a few tips real quick. If you're new to reading, if you wanna build that habit to reading, maybe you've never read before, I don't know, and you just wanna get reading. Here are some tips for you, something that has honestly really helped me. First tip to get back into reading is to set a goal for yourself. So, at the beginning of this year, I really wanna get into reading, so my goal was 3 books a month, which leads to 36 books a year, which is a pretty good goal. And I've been able to maintain it. It is now April, and so I've read 3 books each month. So that is, well, I guess I'm gonna be reading 16 books by no, I'm not. I'm gonna be reading 12 books. 12 books by the end of this month, sorry. Literally just set that goal for yourself, and that way you're able to maintain it, you're able to keep going. So even if it's 1 book, that's an awesome goal. Think about it, if it's a 300-page book and you read 10 pages a day, you're gonna finish that book by the end of the month if there are 30 days in the month. Set a goal for yourself. Tip number 2 is to choose an easy to read book. This is for the people that are getting into reading. Me, myself, yes, I read a lot when I was little, but the easiness of reading is solely based on how consistent you are with reading. So obviously, the more you read, the easier it is to read difficult books. But if you're new to reading and you choose kind of like a harder to read book, it's gonna discourage you. It's gonna, you're gonna wanna put it off. You don't wanna read, you're not gonna enjoy it, you're not gonna be able to get into the book. So that tip is super important. Start off with those easy to read books, even if it's like fiction books. I personally find that fiction books are easier for me to read because you're reading a story, you're reading about characters, you're kind of like watching a show or a movie. Like, it's easier to get into reading when it's for entertainment, which is what, fiction books usually are. Some that I can recommend, you probably are familiar with Miss Colleen Hoover. She's got the hype, and I think she's got the hype because she's an easy to read author. And what I mean by that is you can read her books super fast because she uses language that you usually use in your everyday life. And I mean, her books are really interesting, but that was actually one of the books that helped me get into reading was Verity by Colleen Hoover. You guys have probably heard of it. If you haven't, or if you haven't read it, recommend it. It's super good. So yeah, choosing those easy to read books are key, especially if you want to get back into reading. That's something that really helped me. I know maybe you have a specific book that you want to read on your list, but once you finally buy that book and you start reading it, you realize it's so much more difficult than than you thought it was. So you put it off. You think, oh, I don't like this book or whatever. But really, it's just because you need to build that habit. You need to build that knowledge that, you know what I'm saying? Practice makes perfect. So the more you read, the better you read, right? So let's just get right into it. I'm gonna be talking about 5 self-help books. So by self-help, I mean, they're normally like nonfiction, like they have a message for you, they relate to you in some sort of way. I enjoy these books. Again, they're, for me, on the more difficult side to get into because I feel like when you start reading a self-help book, you really do have to be present, and your mind does kind of have to be clear in a sense in order to really grasp and engage with what the author is saying. These self-help books I've read over the past years, mainly most of them are from books I read last year, and then one I'm actually currently reading. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because it seems like a fun one, and I definitely think it's a habit that everyone should get into. So the first book I'm actually reading, so I have a Kindle. I love it. I recommend it, especially if you want to get into that habit of reading. It's so easy, so convenient, you can just bring it anywhere. So 10 out of 10. Recommend it. If you don't have one, get one. But the first book is the one I'm currently reading. I'm on page 77, and I think it's like a 200 something page book, but that is The Intuitive Path by Sarah Wiseman. As it says in the title, it's really all about intuition. Intuition is essentially the things that you already know. And I like this book because she starts off by saying, like, most of the questions in the universe, you already know, like, you know the answers to most of those questions. And even if you're not necessarily like spiritual, or maybe you are like religious, like there's no type there, like you don't have to be a specific type of person to read and enjoy this book and like benefit from it. Even if you are a very religious person, this book can be applied to your religion, if you know what I'm saying. So a lot of it deals with how to listen to the universe or to God, you know, whoever you may believe in, whatever you may believe in, you can easily apply it to that. But it talks about, how you can listen to the universe, the clues, the signs, like how to tap into your intuitive power, how to know like what choice to make. Especially now, personally, I struggle with that. I struggle with decision making, knowing what's the right choice, what do I do, what do I want? And this book has really opened my eyes in a lot of ways. I love it, I really do. It makes you look at life in a different way, and kind of it helps you be a little bit more present and aware, because you want to catch those signs. You want to listen to what the universe is saying, the universe's path for you. So I like it so far. I'm not even done with it, but I can't recommend it enough. I'm going to give you a quote. I'll try to give a quote from each book. So this quote right here is, "Intuition tells us what we already know." I really like that. Do with that what you will, but yeah. Very good book. Cannot recommend it enough. And it's super easy, really short, so if you want to start off with a book like this for your first self-help book, I definitely recommend this one. I have green tea in here with some collagen for extra health benefits. So the next book we're going to talk about is also a really good one. Very short, very easy read. I read this last year in December, so not too long ago, a few months ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's so good. I don't have the book with me because I gave it to my parents so they could read it, but obviously it's right here. This is what it looks like. I feel like you've probably seen it before, especially if you're looking at self-help books, you're searching for that in that realm. Kind of like a guide. So it covers the 4 agreements, and I'll tell you what they are. The words are big, the book is short, so it's very easy to read. It's very easy to understand as well. So I really like his writing style. And then I know he has a 5th agreement, which is another book that I have to read. I have yet to read it, but let me read these 4 agreements to you. Agreement number 1 is to be impeccable with your word. Agreement number 2 is to not take things personally. Agreement number 3 is to make assumptions. Agreement number 4 is to always do your best. I obviously don't want to give too much away, but even by that, you can kind of get a gist of what the book talks about. It teaches you a way of life. So, for example, I'll give you an example. For the last agreement, which is always do your best, it means that one kind of talks about how your best may change from moment to moment. So like your best on a Tuesday where you got an 100 on your test and you had the most delicious meal and you're having a good day, your best is going to be so good. And so that obviously changes. You may be having a bad day, maybe it's raining outside, maybe you got told some bad news. Even though it's a bad day, you should still be doing your best at whatever moment, which it changes, but I don't even know how to explain it. It's just really good. You need to read it. That could be another book that you start with. I really, really like it. Again, super easy to read, which is why you should read it. The next 3 books I actually have with me right now. So this one I read at the beginning. I finished reading it at the beginning of this year. It took me a while to read it just because life, but it is The Rhythm of Life by Matthew Kelly. and I love this book. My friend actually let me borrow it, so I have to give it back to her. I've had it for like 4 months now or more. It talks about living every day with passion and purpose, which I feel like a lot of us don't do, you know? Like, life is so busy that we tend to not live it with purpose. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'm struggling with finding what my purpose is, and this book really gave me a lot of insight. I don't know, I really liked it. It talks about your needs versus wants, you know, spiritual needs, physical needs, just like everything. It talks about the voice within, choosing happiness. Who you become is infinitely more important than what you do or what you have. Are you ready to meet the best version of yourself? That's my favorite part about the book, that it talks about the best version of yourself. It talks about how to get there, what it's like. It's kind of like on the more difficult side. It is not difficult, but it's about 300 pages. The words are a little bit smaller, may take you a little bit longer. It has like longer chapters, so it does go by a little bit slower. But once you get into it, you can't stop reading it. I think I spent like 3 hours one day just like reading it, and I really enjoyed it. So definitely recommend this book. Put it on your list. Read it this year. If you are a girl, I feel like most girls are gonna be watching this video, but then again, you never know. I cannot recommend this book enough. So this one's called Book of Moods. It's by Lauren Martin, and I love it. First of all, it's pink, it's beautiful, so cute. As a girl, and as a girl that struggles with mood swings, this book really helped me understand them, understand my mood swings, understand what moods are, understand not how to control them, but kind of like how to accept them. She's a very relatable author. She gives a lot of like personal experiences. She broke it down into different types of mood, so like beauty, friends, family, body. With each type of mood, she kind of expressed like what mood, what is it, and like instances where it would happen. So let me give you an example. Let's do the mood beauty. So as you see here, it's kind of like a chapter. So a chapter is kind of like a different mood. So this one's beauty. And so it says like symptoms include irritability, dramatization, increased sensitivity, and adverse reactions to Instagram. So I like this book because it's very modern, it's very real. It kind of has to do with society today and like the struggles that you may struggle with as a woman today, you know? Those little things that have to do with beauty, like a pimple or something that can literally just cause a mood, right? It makes you angry, makes you feel unworthy, makes you feel whatever type of way. She goes into what that type of mood is telling you. You're so used to your features, you forget how beautiful you look to a stranger. So I really love that quote. It's so beautiful. If you need it, I think it's definitely a book that you can reread. And it kind of just helps you understand your moods. It helps you know what they're telling you and just how to deal with them, how to not put them away or like suppress them or anything, but just how to deal with them like head on and stuff like that. So Book of Moods, pretty book. I like it, I enjoyed it, so definitely 10 out of 10 recommend. And finally, the last book. This one, I'm gonna be completely honest, I haven't read. So you're asking yourself, like, why are you even reviewing a book if you haven't even read it? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you even recommend it if you haven't read it? Well, here's the thing. This is, I would say, for me at least, a book that I would classify as a more difficult read. So this is The Power of Now by Ekhart Tolle. And see, the thing that makes this book a difficult book for me to read is because it has a lot of like long sentences. This is a book that I've started reading, I couldn't get into. Like, you know, you start, and I hate when that happens, like you're reading a sentence or a paragraph and then you get to the end and you're like, wait, what? Like you don't even know what it said. That happens to me a lot in this book, not because it's a bad book, just because it has so much substance within each sentence. Like there's just so much. Obviously, from the title of the book, it's about the power of now. It's about being present. It's about bringing your awareness to what's going on in the present. It's about not worrying about what happened in the past, not letting that affect what's happening in this present moment, not worrying about the future, because the future is literally just a result of whatever is happening in this moment. So even though I haven't fully read this, like you can just tell by the title, and if you need that help, it'll definitely help you. So this book is definitely on my list to actually finish. But like I said, I'm just getting practice first. I'm building up my reading ability, building up my vocab, and then reading this whenever I can actually fully understand it And yeah, I feel like with this book, I definitely recommend it. But it is kind of hard to get into the headspace to read a book like this because of just the long sentences. That's my thing with this book. I recommend it. Even though I haven't read it, I recommend it, which says a lot. Definitely don't start off with this book because it's going to discourage you. I'll say that. It's going to discourage you because it's a hard book to read. Now, if you've read and you read and you're an avid reader and you're just looking for more books to read, then read this one. I'm going to start reading it probably soon. I'll make it a goal maybe next month to read it. So I actually highlighted a quote in here. Maybe I can read it to you. So you see and judge the present through the eyes of the past and get a totally distorted view of it. I really like that one. It talks about the present and how the past affects your present. So I recommend this. Haven't read it, but I'm gonna read it, so maybe we can read it together. But not the first book you should read, but definitely once you get into that habit, the book you should get and put on your reading list. So that's it. That's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely give me your book recommendations down below. I can always use them. I love whenever people recommend me books because sometimes I have struggle finding good books. So if you think a book is good and you want to recommend it, please comment down below. You know, I'm reading a lot of books, so I can do a review on them. Maybe at the end of the year I can do like what I read in the year, blah, blah, whatever. If you're just getting started, I hope the tips at the beginning of this video helped you. Or if you're an avid reader, but maybe you haven't read these books, I recommend them, definitely. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget, subscribe, like, again, comment your book recommendations. I really need them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I can't wait to see you in the next one. I'll probably upload another video this week, so definitely keep an eye out, turn on the notification bell. You know the drill, you know it. And yeah, that's all. That's all I have for today. So have an awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.